Hello everyone and welcome to this series on AWS Lab. As part of this series, we are going to showcase how to use AWS resources and services in one or more of your projects. As a very first step in this lab exercise, what we are going to do is we will create IAM user groups and IAM users. This is as part of the best practice which says that we should not allow any of our developers and our system admin to use our root credentials. So as you can see in the screen right now, I am logged in as a root user. So before we go into the exercise, we will first create the IAM user groups. We will attach access policies to this group, and then we will create the user which will belong to one or more of these user groups. So we are right now going into the IAM management console. We will look into the IAM user group. So here is the group. There is no group which is existing, so we will go and create a new group. So we will take example group as a name. Here we have to select the access policy. There are a collection of predefined access policies which are existing. You can create your own access policy, or you can even extend one or more of these existing access policies and attach it to the user groups. Since our next exercise is mainly around EC2, so we will go and do a filter search on the EC2. We have this EC2 full access which is existing here, so we will select this EC2 full access. We'll click on the next, and yeah, we have to go and create the group. So the group has been created. You can see here it will show you the policy. Yes, this is the policy. You can see the show policy. It will show you the JSON formatted file around the policy. So it has a collection of allow action on different resources around EC2, as well as some of the other resources which are required along with the EC2. For example, the elastic load balancer, the CloudWatch, the auto scaling. In the IAM role, it's a bit tricky. So IAM role, it requires for different purpose, and as you can see here, when you are going for a spot kind of EC2 instances, you need to create the one EC2 resource may create another EC2 resources, and for that reason they require appropriate access. Also, while you are provisioning the EC2, and from EC2, if you have to access any of the other resources, for example S3 or even RDS kind of services, you require appropriate roles to be there. So so you require a specific IAM access policies when you are provisioning the EC2 resources, and for that reason you can see that some of the IAM roles and some of the access policies around these IAM roles are being mentioned here. There will be a separate session where we will go into the detail of what these policies are, and how we can customize, how we can simulate these policies, and how we can write our own custom policies for that. For now, for time being, we will just focus on this user groups and the users. Access advisor, I'll just give a brief overview of what exactly this is. So I will first create the user, and then I will come back to this access advisor. So let's go and create the user. We do not have any user which is existing, so we will go and create a example user. While we are creating this user, it has two different options on the access type. If you require your developer to be accessing the AWS resources through API, CLI, or the SDK, then you require access through the program. In this case, what generally happens is that you get access key ID and the secret access key, which you have to keep here to maintain. And then when you configure your CLI or your SDK, then you have to pass on this information, access key ID and the secret access key. If you need access to the AWS Management Console, in those scenarios you have to enter the user ID and the password. So what happens here is that the user ID is what we have entered here, the example user, and the password is what we can add it here. So the access type that we have given here is the AWS Management Console access. So this is what is actually required. Um, Now if you see here, you can see that there is also a console password. So this is applicable only when you are selecting the management console access. If you are going for auto generation password, then it will be a random string of which will be generated as a password. And generally it is useful when you are creating the password for your team members or for third party members which are working on your project. If you are doing it for your own proof of concept or for your own uses, in that case you can also go for a custom password. If you go for auto generation, as a best practice, it is also recommended that you select this checkbox where it requires that the user, when they do a first sign in using the this random password, they have to change it with their own password. So that is very much required when you are going for auto generated password. For our lab purpose, we will go with the custom password. And when we are going for a custom password, probably we may not require this option, so we will not keep this. So it is I will just set up the password. Now you can see I will go and select the next action, which is more of showcasing the permission. So I will go and select on the permission. As you can see here, there is already a group existing, so I will associate the user with this example group, and I will go for a next review. So for the review, you can see that I have got the username as example user, and the access type I have selected both programmatic as well as the console, the password as the custom, and there is no password reset which is required. The group I have assigned this user is to the example group, and now I will go and create this user. So right now it is creating the user. Once the user gets created, probably we will go back to the user group and see exactly the thing. Okay, so before we go there, so we have got this screen, and we have got this URL which is there. What we will do is we will copy and keep this URL at a safer place. We were talking about this access key ID and the secret access key, which are used when you have to access the AWS resources and services using through the SDK, the APIs and the CLIs. In those cases, we do not generally pass the user ID and password. What we have to pass is this access key ID and the secret access key. You can download also this this CSV file. So I will also download this CSV file and keep it with us, so that when we require, we will go and kind of use this information. So yeah, so that's the creation of the user. So if you can see here, I will go back to the group, and I will select the example group, and yeah, now you can see the access advisor here. So you can see these are the services. So one is the Amazon EC2, the CloudWatch, the load balancing, the IAM role, it's mainly the role that is there, and the auto scaling. It also gives you which all members has access this policy, and what is the last access date and time. Since it is not being used, it is just has been created, so there is no data which is available for the last access time. Now what we will do is that we will log out as a root user, and we will log in with this new user that we had just created from the console. So let's sign out from here, and we will use the same URL that we had copied earlier. You can see that this account number will be pre-populated this time, and now it will ask for the user ID and the password. So here we have to give the user ID, which is the example user, and the password. So now it has allowed me to log in into the AWS system as example user, which is not a root user, which has a very specific access policy. So what we will do is we will first go and validate if this access policy really works. So as you have seen, the access that we have provided is mainly around EC2, the load balancing, the CloudWatch, and what we will do is we will go with this RDS, and we will try to provision a database on this RDS instance. So let's go to the instances and try to launch a DB instance. So you can see here it is giving the error code 403 access denied, and this is happening because this example user doesn't have appropriate access to provision the RDS instance. Now we will go and provision the EC2 resource. So let's go there. Yeah, so we will go and launch an EC2 instance. Select free tier only. Probably, I think by default it gives the free tier. I will select the free tier, and I will do a review and the launch. I will not go to the detail of security groups and other stuff, because that is not exactly required as of now. We just want to validate that yes, we are able to access the EC2 instances, and we are able to provision the EC2 instances. So yeah, now you can see that it is provisioning. It means that this example user has exactly got the access which are required for our coming lab session. So that's all in this session, and let's go to the next session, which I will be covering very shortly on setting up a web application on Linux and Windows. And yeah, if you have liked this session, please do not forget to like the video and also subscribe to this channel. So thanks for watching this video, and thanks for your patience. Thank you. Bye bye.